The following review is intended for entertainment purposes and targeted for adult fans of the series. Hello there, heroes! I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to another Kamen Rider Dragon Knight episode review. I know some of you may be surprised to see me back so soon, but really, we all process grief in different ways, and it actually really helps me to have something like my video work to focus on. It hardly seems right to call these Dragon Knight episode reviews after our titular rider was vented last week, but let's just say that I have my reasons. Besides that bombshell, Michelle finally found Wing Knight and showed him something that he said might just win the war against Xaviax. Let's find out what, or rather who, by taking a look at the 32nd episode of Dragon Knight, Advent Master Returns.
Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel.
Yeah, and make sure you got your notifications set up by hitting that little bell icon.
Right you. What he said was, you can consider checking us out on Patreon or Ko-fi at Orange Ranger Videos. Right you.
The cold open is quick and to the point and features Xaviax expositing to himself. Okay, not really. He is technically talking to two of the white grunts who can't really answer him, and I'm not even incredibly sure if they understand him, but anyway. Not only is Wing Knight alone and on the ropes, but the DNA cataloging of Earth is complete, meaning that Xaviax can now teleport away the entire human race. He tells the grunts to go place teleport beacons all over the place, saying really to himself this time after they leave that if Wing Knight tries to stop him, he's got a little surprise ready for him, holding the Dragon Knight deck. After the credits, the No Men bring Len and the others to some kind of secret underground bunker where we see someone is being monitored medically. Len, and thus the audience, get a look at him, and he looks like a Kamen Rider. Now, granted, not these Kamen Riders. His suit has a bit more of a technological vibe to it. It's got kind of screws on it. It's mostly black. It has a solid black visor, a different belt, stuff like that.
Time for backstory!
Okay, if I'm gonna throw this in anywhere, I may as well throw it in here. In Kamen Rider Ryuki, these are not actually technically considered Kamen Riders. This suit, and another one just like it, are called Alternative and Alternative Zero, and they're also known as pseudo-riders. They're basically copies of the riders from Ryuki. In this show, Len identifies this as the Advent Master. He holds the Wing Knight deck up to his belt, which causes energy to transfer into it and eventually wakes him up. He powers down, revealing a slightly older man, maybe in his 50s, that otherwise looks very similar to Len. Len identifies this as Master Ubulon. But oh, by the way, that face is not just familiar to Len, but to older fans of tokusatsu, because Master Ubulon is played by one Mark Dacascos, Martial Arts History Museum Hall of Famer, Only the Strong, the chairman on Iron Chef America, John Wick 3, and a little bit of Toku possibility finally seen fulfilled here. You see, in another timeline, Mark became what Austin St. John is now. Dacascos was cast to play Victor Lee, the Red Ranger in Bio-Man, Saban's first attempt at adapting Super Sentai. That show was not picked up, and of course, Jew Ranger, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Austin St. John, etc., etc. With this role, Dacascos finally takes his well-deserved spot in the tokusatsu spotlight.
Get on with it!
Oh, shove it up your cloud. So suddenly we're at a carnival? A carnival with nobody there? Except for Kit? And he's trying a new comb to the side hairstyle. That's interesting. He's there with a very pretty woman who he leans in to kiss, but she suddenly faints over to the side, and Xaviax appears behind her riding on one of the horses. Wonderfully mysterious, ultimately creepy, A+ scene. Then it's back to the bunker, where Ubulon is expositing for the crowd, and I immediately have some issues. First off, he says that he and Xaviax vented each other at the same time. From my knowledge of this story, Xaviax was not a Kamen Rider until the stuff with Kamen Rider Wrath here on Earth, etc., etc. So I don't think he gets to use the Advent Void. I'm pretty sure in this case, the writers were just using vented as a stand-in word for, like, killed. Xaviax's attack was so powerful that it didn't send Ubulon to the Advent Void, it sent him to Earth?
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
Dude, I think he probably just knocked you through a mirror and you're just being a touch over dramatic here. In his final moments of consciousness, he hoped that he had defeated Xaviax, and Len tells him that they felt like he did, but then of course Xaviax came back. Ubulon asks how long he's been gone, and Michelle says that he was found on Earth 61 years ago, 1947, Roswell, New Mexico. Listen, it's a little bit eye-rolly, but really every show like this has its own explanation for stuff like Roswell. After Len explains the whole Rider suspended animation thing to the others to explain how he could have known Ubulon since at least 1947, he informs Master Ubulon that Adam, the original Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, Kit's double, betrayed them to Xaviax. He cannot believe it and then puts the rest of the pieces together. Xaviax successfully captured the population of Ventara and now is coming after the population of Earth. Also, I just realized this cord is going across the TV, so we need to come a little... Michelle asks when Xaviax is going to try to capture Earth's population, and if Ubulon will try to help stop him. The latter seems fairly obvious, but the former question answers itself immediately. One of the No-Men brings in one of the teleportation beacons they found, and Ubulon says that if those are appearing on Earth, they have days at most. Trent pipes up and says they have to stop him. One of the other No-Men agents, and we'll get to this in a moment, says that he's glad to hear him say that, and pulls him off to the side for a little chat. Back at the carnival, since we've been talking about Adam, you can probably piece together what's going on here. No, that's not Kit trying out a new hairdo. That is Adam, the original Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. He tells Xaviax that he thought he was done with all this. But you see, Adam, that's the thing.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Xaviax says Wing Knight needs to be vented and all of his riders are gone. Adam says he would never hurt Len intentionally and he is done with this. Xaviax reveals that this carnival is actually some kind of Ventaran holodeck and threatens to reveal the truth about Ventara and Adam to Sarah over there. Adam very reluctantly agrees to what he's asking and reclaims the Dragon Knight deck. Oh, and Xaviax left him a little get-in-shape present. A monster that grabs Sarah. Adam transforms and they fight. It's a short little rider footage fight. Adam getting in form against, I think, some kind of bull monster. He eventually tracks it down, and what's really interesting here is that he uses his final vent, and Sarah is there, meaning it's original footage. Of course, some of it's the recycled footage we see of every time that final vent is used, but most of the footage is original, and I think they pulled it off pretty well. Sarah wakes up with Adam there, saying that everything is fine, despite the fact that, not everything is not fine. Back at the bunker, we get kind of a glorious admission by the writers of something that I've been saying for a long time. One of these characters is not like the others. Maya is here because she's investigated this stuff. Trent is here because he's a hacker, and spoilers, he's about to join the No-Men. Lacey is here because she's Maya's best friend, and otherwise she doesn't have anything to do. So she literally just asks Michelle if she can leave. She's resistant at first, but they convince her that she really has no reason to tell anyone about any of this, and they let her go. Lacey tells Maya that she'll be back in a little while. I mean, there's really no rush, Lacey. Take your time.
Goodbye.
But when will I see you again?
Oh, never, never.
Let's touch on both that spoiler and that No-Men agent thing I said I was going to come back to. There's a No-Men agent that we've seen several times before, but in this episode, he gets a significant number of lines, a decent part of this story, so let's get with his name. This is Agent Phillips that is grilling Trent right now, okay? Okay, so Agent Phillips tells Trent that he once had James Trademore in that chair, remember him? JTC? And made him the same offer that Trent is getting now. Join the No-Men! Or go to prison.
Do I get to pick my own color?
Trent scoffs at joining the enemy, but Phillips makes a very tempting offer. They know everything. Every conspiracy, every rumor, every trace of a whisper in the wind, Trent could know all the details about at a moment's notice. He asks if he can take some time to think about this, and Phillips says he can take all the time he needs. He's got at least 10 to 20 years. Michelle and Ubulon discuss the beacons, with him saying that there's no way they'll be able to track all of them down on Earth. He gives her some kind of light-up doodad thing and says attaching that to their frequency scanners will allow them to scan Ventara for master transmitters located on their version of the 5 continents: Africa, Asia, North America, South America, and Australia.
Where in the world is
Carmen Sandiego?
I understand that Antarctica was probably considered a little too cold, but there are some researchers in the human race that are there that you're missing, Xaviax. And Europe, well, I guess that's close enough to Asia, isn't it? Michelle says that this is Ventaran technology. Who are they going to get that's going to make this compatible with Earth technology?
We work in secret. We exist in shadow.
And we dress in black.
Phillips leads Trent back out in the suit and the sunglasses, introducing Agent Mosley. Hey, Trent's got a last name, that's kind of neat. Maya is absolutely stunned, but as Trent reiterates, they know everything. Michelle gives him the doodad and tells him to get to work, which might be a little more useful had Trent been in the room while you were talking about it, and he had any clue what you wanted him to do with it.
Increase the Flash Gordon noise and put more science stuff around.
Okay. As you might have picked up on by now, this episode contains a whole bunch of exposition. And here's some more. Master Ubulon's deck, and yes, in this show he has a deck and is a Kamen Rider. In Ryuki Alternatives, not a Kamen Rider. Here, Ubulon, Master, Advent Master, is a Kamen Rider. The deck was damaged in the battle with Xaviax, but he decides to try to venture into the Advent Void anyway. Yeah, guess what? Turns out the Advent Void isn't like Unto Death Purgatory. The Void was designed for the riders as a failsafe. When a rider was badly hurt, they'd be automatically pulled into the Advent Void so they would be safe until everything had calmed down and Ubulon could go retrieve them later. He was the only one with the key to the Advent Void. So when he went out of commission, the system still worked to pull riders into the Void, but there was nobody to pull them back out. Before he leaves, he glances at Maya for a moment, then turns to Len and says that he may need help if Xaviax attacks before he gets back from the Advent Void. He pulls out the Siren deck. Oh, yeah, at the start of the scene, Len was handing over the decks of the other riders, and asks Maya if she has the courage to be a Kamen Rider. What are you talking about? She's not sure, which to be honest is probably a better answer than most of us would give. She's never fought a day in her life, and besides, she's definitely not Case's mirror twin. Interesting that they didn't make any kind of an effort to find her. Ubulon says that he was the one who assigned the decks, and he can reassign them. Maya is now Kamen Rider Siren. Oh, yeah, and the whole learning to fight thing. He has her touch palms with him, and she instantly learns all of Case's fighting skills.
I know Kung Fu.
That is more than a little convenient, but I'm getting ahead of myself. We see the Advent Master in the Advent Void, Advent, which is, of course, a big open space with lots of darkness and lightning, which is befitting of the Void name, but of course it couldn't just be like a waiting room at a doctor's office, right? He finds some kind of pod and approaches it. This next part is entirely unnecessary. Maya walks back into the room and has completely changed her look. Not just her clothes, of course now the solid black form-fitting clothes that Case was wearing, but she's also got darker makeup on, and her hair is straightened, and I swear that they dyed it black as well. Don't get me wrong, she looks real good. But, you know what? Once again, getting ahead of myself. I'll save it for the cons, if I remember. She even drops a, "Let's ride." And she and Len head to Ventara. For some reason. Trent hasn't gotten the scanner working yet, as far as we're aware. There are no alarms going off or anything, no mirror shimmers. Where are they headed exactly? But nonetheless, she gets to Ventara and finds one of the master transmitters. Grunts attack her, but she transforms into Kamen Rider Siren and defeats one of them with a single kick and the other with a single punch. More grunts show up, and meanwhile, we see that Wing Knight is weirdly having a lot more trouble with his grunts, and I guess the two of them split up somewhere? There's a cute moment where Len grabs the master transmitter that he's after and uses it to defend himself. The grunts won't follow through and attack the transmitter. Back with Maya, she destroys the rest of her grunts and powers down, thrilled at what she can now do. Xaviax observes this and quickly puts together that if decks are being reassigned, Ubulon must be back. He tells Adam there's been a change of plans. He's now going to go befriend Wing Knight and the girl. Adam marvels at Ubulon being back, but Xaviax warns him not to think that Ubulon can just bring all the riders back and that'll completely undo what he did. He still betrayed them. He musses Adam's hair so it looks more like Kit's and tells him to go play nice. Wing Knight, again still having significantly more trouble with his grunts than Siren did with hers, destroys his transmitter, which explodes. Even though Siren's didn't explode because... Wing Knight completely randomly final vents another group of grunts in what is very obviously different footage, and then another group goes to jump him. However, a fireball stops them.
Fireball.
So, when Xaviax messed up Adam's hair, did you think that maybe they were going to go with pretending that Adam was Kit, who Ubulon had just freed from the Advent Void to get in close to Wing Knight? Ha ha! No. Wing Knight asks if that's Kit, and he says, "No, I'm Adam. Let's read the cards."
Disappointed!
Episode 32, Advent Master Returns. Pros: fun seeing Mark Dacascos in this role. Maya being Siren was fun, and a nice role for Trent. Cons: Lacey is literally pointless, and the big two: exposition and convenience. Sadly, this one is a little bit of a stumble. Advent Master Returns gets 3 cards out of 5. I really do mean it. At the time of the show's airing, this felt like kind of a tokusatsu prophecy coming to pass when it was revealed that Dacascos would be playing the Advent Master. He brings this kind of fun pretentiousness to roles like this. There's a weight to his words even when they're absolutely ridiculous. He absolutely sells that technobabble that stories like this can have. And it is just very satisfying to have the Red Bio Ranger officially enter the world of Tokusatsu. I criticized the look, I criticized the way they handled it, but I have to admit, making Maya Kamen Rider Siren was fun. It was a nice plot twist, taking this character that's been more of a damsel in distress and honestly a plot element than a character, and making her part of the action. And they timed it perfectly, moving her into a rider role when Kit takes a step out of the story. It lets them use more fight footage and gives girls watching the show another role model. And another other in the pros, Trent becoming a no-man is really a fun transition. In a way, he switches teams, but it's really a high point of his character arc. His skills are recognized, his talents are valued, and he now has an official way to help in this fight. It was also nice to put him on that same path as JTC, but show that he took the other road. It shows that he's just as talented as JTC, just with a bit more moral fiber. 2 of the others landed in the pros, and that leaves the other one to land in the cons. They really did make the right choice writing Lacey out of this story for a while, but the fact that they had to in the first place demonstrates just how useless this character has been. Okay, useless is a touch unfair. She has pushed some plot points forward, I guess, but just like seriously, she's like, I'm gonna go. She says she needs some time in the real world for a while to wrap her head around all this, like nobody else involved in this situation would need that, and absolutely nobody questions it. Seriously, Lacey, you really don't need to come back at all. But yeah, that pales in comparison to the 2 other cons I have for this episode, which I'm handling in tandem, called Exposition and Convenience. The Advent Master wakes up and just starts blathering plot details. Where he came from, what Xaviax is doing, how to fix it, what the Advent Void is, how Maya can be a Kamen Rider.
Too much talking.
Like I said, DeCascos does lend weight to the script, but that doesn't make it always make sense what he's saying. It just eases that suspension of disbelief a little bit. And the technobabble. Up to this point, the show really hadn't been all that bad about technobabble, but all of a sudden, DNA sequences, Advent Void, fail-safes, teleporters. Half of this episode feels like incredibly technical lines.
Now, you do know what a bilateral kelelactral is.
Well, of course I do, human. I am not stupid.
In the end, that all takes away from the heart that this show usually has. This episode feels weirdly rushed in its script, like the writers realized that they were entering the final arc and they still had a lot of things that they had to explain. It's still not bad, but this show has done a lot better. Maybe they'll do a lot better next week. Let's take a look at the 33rd episode of Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, Out of the Void. The Advent Master rescues 3 riders from the Void, while Adam tries to gain the trust of the riders by joining them in battle. That is going to do it for another Kamen Rider Dragon Knight episode review. Thanks all of you so much for watching, and also thank you for the kind words and condolences I've seen about my mother. I am going to miss her a lot, but as I said in that last video, life goes on, and doing stuff like this is kind of, helping me think about other things. So I appreciate y'all being here, watching me talk about a silly tokusatsu rubber-suited monsters show, and giving me something else to kind of focus my attention on. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and click that bell button. I forgot what it was for a second. That bell button that'll let you get notified of whenever I post brand new videos. Check me out on Patreon, Teespring, Coffee. Basically, if you search for Orange Ranger videos or Orange Ranger Plays, you will find me somewhere on the internet. Until next time, heroes, may the power of the cards protect you. Where somebody is being and asks if Ubulon will help them. No, that's not Kit. This next part is entirely unnecessary. Entirely unnecessary. It didn't sound like I said that right. Cons, Lacey is... That is going to do it for another Kamen Rider Dragon Knight episode review. Thank all of you for...